God's Not Dead is one of the most unchristian-like, hateful, manipulative, and garbage movies I've ever seen in my entire lifetime. Let's get to the review. God's Not Dead is a movie that has sat with me for a very long time, and it's one that I've wanted to do a review about, but also talk about my personal feelings with this movie, because I grew up in a very strict Christian environment where a lot of my family members are very strong Christians and absolutely believe everything to the death, which is absolutely fine. So getting that out of the way, let's talk about my experience for the first time watching this movie. Now, I went to go see this at my local movie theater that I work at now. Love that place. And I went to go see it with my brother and my grandfather. After the movie, we talked about all the deep and great messages this movie had, and we talked about it like this would actually happen in real life. Years later, I hadn't really thought about the film. I still gave it a super high rating, probably like an 8 or a 9, because I was a stupid 14 or 15-year-old being brainwashed by a church. I ended up watching Ralph the Movie Maker's review of God's Not Dead, which is absolutely fantastic, by the way, so I'm going to link that down below. I really disagree with it when I first watched it. I couldn't believe someone would think about it, but then a couple weeks later, I actually went go back and I watched the whole review again, and I ended up just laughing at it, being so entertained and just agreeing with everything that he said about the review. That kind of opened my eyes to film criticism, to the life of how Christians have become very hypocritical. So now I finally watched the movie tons of years later, and this movie is absolutely 100% awful. We gotta get right into the message of this movie, which is the Christian message, which is basically that anyone who's a Christian in this movie is good. Anyone who is not a Christian is bad. Whether you are an atheist, whether you are a Muslim, whether you're just a crappy businessman, you're just completely evil, and it's just black and white, which the Bible isn't really black and white, which is basically hypocritical to say the least. Now, you're probably wondering, if you are a Christian that are watching this, Brad, come on, no way, you're being crazy, okay? There's definitely different factors to things. No, I'm telling you, rewatch the movie again, think about my points, and you will see exactly what I'm talking about. This movie decides that if you are a Christian, you can't mess up at all. Sure, you can mess up because of other people. No matter what, you always do the right thing, especially Josh Whedon. You're a great person. You stand for yourself. Urgh. What I hated so much is that they feel so perfect in every way. Their arcs are them getting over past these atheist people. These people that are atheists or don't even believe in God, or don't even really mention they believe in God, or they just kind of like, oh, you're doing like the Christian stuff, are automatically bad. They're automatically like the worst people you would ever meet, that just have nothing complex or even detail about them. They are just a villain character for each one of the characters we meet, because this story also has like 5 million characters going on, and they all intersect, which is something PureFlix really loves to do with their movies, to show different sides of the Christian culture in America during the modern time, which is so laughably stupid, and it's just all over the place. Getting that message out of the way, let's talk about the acting. My God, the acting's terrible. Everyone in this movie is awful. There is not one good performance. Everyone just feels like an absolute cartoon character, super stiff, and every atheist character just gives it their absolute all, and they are probably the best parts of this movie, because they are just a laughable cartoon villain. And then you got this performance right here.
Grow up, Amy.
You understand that I might die.
I'm sorry about that.
My God, can that be any more fake? We also have the amazing writing, which shoves in Bible verses, Bible-related things, Christian-related things to tell you that Christianity is the only thing you need, even though it doesn't allow the viewer to literally think for themselves. If you watch this movie and you are not a Christian, you don't even have to be an atheist. You could literally just not believe in anything. You would hate this movie, because this movie forces that on you and says, yeah, if you do these things, you are going to be a good person, because they emulate that in all these different ways. It's basically catering to the old white cracker Christians who think they're Christians, but they're absolutely not. Dialogue is just absolutely hilarious. They say the most ridiculous and garbage lines that I can't believe this was greenlit and made this much amount of money. The music is literally some of the worst I think I've ever heard. You even had the Newsboys, which is an extremely popular Christian band that I only know about because, well, I'm a Christian and I know all about it. So I kind of have a first hand of what people really like. Have the God's Not Dead song. Woo! We're gonna have a little concert song at the end that's so cheesy, and they're literally only in this movie because Pureflix is like, hey, we'll give you money to be in our movie. Please be in our movie because you're really popular and you will drive in sales. And that's basically what they did. And then they got their God's Not Dead song up and charting, and everyone's just singing, having a good time, especially with that super duper cringy concert. It is some of the worst I've ever seen. Even the score is absolutely garbage. It's so manipulative where it tries to make you feel sad and plays the most generic and garbage music that I pretty much just want to mute this movie the entire time. This movie looks terrible too. It's absolutely cheap in every way possible. You could tell that they filmed this for like $2 million and they were just like, yeah, we'll just call it a day. We're not going to put any work into the story at all. Overall, this is a movie I will never watch ever again in my entire lifetime. I just did this because I wanted to show my girlfriend this movie. So people ask me, hey, what did you think about that God's Not Dead movie? 10 out of 10, right? And I just show this review and then they get all upset and they don't like me because, you know, that's the Christian way when you don't believe in their Christian values, huh? Oopsies. Don't even try to watch this movie unless you can watch it for free and you can make fun of it with a bunch of your friends. It's an absolute meme movie for sure. Like, there are so many shots and horrible lines of dialogue that are absolutely hilarious. I laughed out loud too. Don't even try to believe any message this movie's trying to tell you. Think for yourself. Think for what you want to believe. And don't let this piece of crap get into your mind and brainwash you. I'm giving this movie a big old 1 out of 10. I would give it 0, but Letterboxd doesn't really allow me to do that, and IMDb, so it's a 1 in my book. So, have you seen God's Not Dead? And if you have, let me know down below in the comment section what you think of the movie. I would love to talk to you about it. As always, I will see you all in the next video.